Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's move some stuff. Let's get some blood flowing. Some things to talk about. Some way to move. Some way to reason. Some way to talk about some stuff always going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Because listen, I get kind of I'm going to say worried with how some people look at stuff. I get worried sometimes on how things go about, opposed to how things happen. And I reference this because there is a lot of times in life that we go through a certain moment and we don't have a lot of time to adapt. And maybe we don't have a lot of time to think about what's going on. And listen, I'll make a little reference here to the booko, the Signal Transmission Trilogy. And there is a section inside of this thing that I make some references about how we do trainings inside of a system, inside of something that's not real to people, how we do trainings. And we expect people to adapt based on the training level of the stuff that we gave them. So, not a true environment, not something they've ever seen before. And we expect them to react with the training inside of a system of something that has never occurred to them. And should be their new reality. Kind of an interesting twist. So the more that I sit back and I talk about this stuff, the more I come to the realization that things could be different if you used or had a set of core principles when you interact with people, when you interact with systems, when you interact with the workplace. Now, listen, a lot of times people get misconstrued when you start talking about principles. I've been looking into something recently, and they have 32 principles inside of a system that I'm looking into currently. And I was like, wow, that's a very high number of principles to talk about to people. So I thought that was kind of strange. But okay, I mean, you have to do what you think is best. But the more I looked into this, the more I looked at it and I said, what would be best suited if you were looking at stuff and had a set of principles? And of course, we're going to get back to human and organizational performance, which consists mostly of 5 principles. And if you use the core principles as they relate to everything, how easy would it be to make some life decisions? How easy would it be if you had to adjust in real time with the things that were going on? That's the problem, or the things that I run into in my head, where I go, how do we make this work for most people, opposed to it just being something that we go, it should work. Hasn't worked, but maybe it should. So when you're making decisions in life, are you basing them off of principles, or are you basing them off of core values? Or is it just a reaction in real time on what's happening? Now, listen, I'm not saying any of the things that I referenced there are wrong or correct. I'm asking, how do you do this? Because that's always going to be the important part. If anything, it's the most important part. Now, think about this from a standpoint on training. If you've ever been in basic training inside of the military, if you've ever been in a martial arts training, if you've ever been in a sports training, what they're trying to get you to do is have reaction time. It's how you react in real time of the things that are occurring. And I look at that and I talk about it and I reference that for the sole purpose of, how would that work for you? How would things move Think about it for a moment. Think about it for just one brief moment in time. How would things work for you if you had reaction times in either core principles or core values in all the decisions you made? Think about that. Some of our safety programs are developed in that, but sometimes our trainings are so shitty that we try to give people non-real world events, and they're supposed to remember these things off of a one-time thing that they trained on many moons ago. It gets weird sometimes on how that's supposed to work out.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.